What's going on, FG fam? Welcome to another episode of the New York Knicks franchise, MyNBA, here on NBA 2K21 Next Gen. Now, we are nearing the end of the series, and we are simming through a bunch of seasons just to see how our players on our team end up doing in their career. Coming off that last video, the Spurs are the champions, and a lot of retirements early on in this episode. Frank Ntilikina, the former Knick, is retiring, as well as Malachi Flynn, who used to be a Knick on this team as well in the beginning of the series. Lots of other guys retiring as well. Mao Chung Lee, we remember when he was drafted in the series, but only Ben Simmons makes the Hall of Fame. Jaylen Brown gets his number retired along with Ben Simmons, and as you can see, the Knicks don't have any lottery picks in this upcoming draft, so don't really expect to add a ton of young talent here as we go through how this draft was. The Knicks did end up with the number 9 overall pick due to making a couple of trades, but we bring in Cartwright. There he is. He will join us. Brevin Paul, Juice Manley getting big contracts to stay with the team. Will Wisebeck, Donta Wade still there. Brevin Paul, Juice Manley still doing their thing. Juice Manley still an A+ 3-point shooter. Love to see it. Samuel Gaines still on the team. Paolo Mancini wins MVP with over 41 points per game this next season. Marshall Hollins, Rookie of the Year, 23 points per game. A lot of guys putting up tons of points. Benji Jasper wins Defensive Player of the Year. There you go, Albino Jack Jags. Paolo Mancini, Josh Banks, Bill Jenkins, Lonnie Childress, and Alex Francis. In the first team All-NBA, Derek Barry Carroll, Stacey Saunders amongst those in the second team. Brevin Paul makes the third team All-NBA. And Benji Jasper with the first team All-Defense. Onyeka Okongwu also very good defensively, of course. James Wiseman in the second team All-Defensive. All-Rookie first team. Well, we couldn't get Cartwright to make it there. He also didn't make it in the All-Rookie second team. So we move forth, and we got taken out by the Pacers, who end up getting taken out by the Sixers, who win the championship over the Spurs. So the Spurs will not win another championship in a row, thankfully. Zach Brady is the MVP of the finals. Only 16 points a game. He did have over 11 assists per game and almost 5 boards per game. So Zach Brady was playing his ass off at point guard for the 76ers, and it pays off. Trust the process, as the Sixers win in 7 against the Spurs, the 2-1 seeds going at it in that finals matchup. So we move ahead into more retirements. Giannis is calling it quits. Devin Booker, Cat, Lonzo Ball, Mo Wagner, Bol Bol, Rui Hachimura, DeAndre Hunter. A lot of guys calling it quits here. Isaac Bongo, Aaron Naismith, Victor Poro, Jaden McLeod, a lot of guys who have been around for a good while. Kenyon Martin Jr. also calling it quits. Reese Mills was pretty darn good for a while. As a matter of fact, he gave us a little bit of fits when he was playing for the Bucks during our championship run. Bishop Doucette, I know that is a created player by one of you guys out there. I believe Bishop Enigma made that guy. He retired without really doing too much in his career. So, Hall of Famers, Giannis, Devin Booker, and Cat all making the NBA Hall of Fame. Devin Booker, 27 points a game in his career. Giannis averaged a double-double, so did Cat. Devin Booker, Cat getting their jerseys retired by the Bucks and T-Wolves. Giannis gets his retired by 3 different teams, the Bucks, the Grizz, and the Spurs. He played for all of those teams. Knicks have an opportunity here in the lottery with 3 lottery picks. They're going to end up with a 3rd overall pick, the 12th overall pick as well. They ended up having to give one of the picks back because it was a lottery-protected pick. And as you can see, Knicks adding some young talent. Not anything too crazy, but they do add some young talent to the squad this year. I don't want to put too much of a focus on it because obviously we're not going to be following everybody's career all the way to the end. We're really just looking to end this series with Juice Manley and see if he could maybe potentially make the Hall of Fame. He's definitely my favorite player in this series. Let me know who your favorite player in this series was in the comments section below. Benji Jasper, another Defensive Player of the Year for him through this season. Brad Stevens gets a Coach of the Year. And we will move into the All-NBA teams where Joshua Banks, the MVP, of course, was going to be there. Lonnie Childress, who's been very good for the Spurs, also on that All-NBA first team. Second team, Stacey Saunders, Paolo Mancini, two very, very good players. Derek Barry Carroll, who we ended up getting rid of at some point along the line as Knicks. He ends up being a really, really good player in this. Benji Jasper, very good. All defensive first team. Obviously, Wiseman had to take that second team spot. All rookie first team. Well, no rookie on our team is going to make that because, well, we use a lot of veterans when we play at this point because I'm looking to keep a lot of the guys on the team through to the end here. And we get knocked out by the Pistons, who end up winning the championship. They beat us in 5 games. They take the Eastern Conference Final in 5 games. And then they go on to win the NBA championship. So Stacey Saunders, been a good player for a while at 29 years old, finally gets a championship trophy. 31.3 points per game in the finals, wins it in 7 over the Trailblazers. And we move into another little offseason here. Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo, De'Aaron Fox, Jonathan Isaac, Ja Morant, Mo Bamba, all retiring from the league. RJ Barrett, who was pretty good for a while, and Obi Toppin. Look at that. RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin, a couple of former Knicks retiring at the exact same time. Obi Toppin had a nice career, 21 points a game throughout his career. I mean, I don't think he's going to make Hall of Fame, but, you know, he had a good career. Tyrell Oyen, who was basically a bench player his entire career, was a nice bench player for us, and he retires as well. Rob Rose, I know somebody made him. I passed him right up. My bad. I'm pretty sure that was V-Dub. I apologize, V-Dub. But there we go. Rob Rose retiring as well, and a lot of other guys. I'm not really recognizing a ton of these names, but they're all retired. Bartholomew Barstow, that's one of your created players as well. Bartholomew Barstow averaged almost 10 points a game in his career. Wasn't a very illustrious one, but I know that was Bear, so there you go, buddy. Ja Morant, DeAndre Ayton, Bam Adebayo, and Brandon Ingram all make the Hall of Fame, a big Hall of Fame class. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Trey Jones, Ja Morant, Bam Adebayo, all getting numbers retired for their respective teams. And as we sim through this lottery, the Knicks get the 14th and 16th picks in this upcoming draft. Of course, we would always try to look to move up. Let's see what we were able to do. We get the number 8 pick, picking a Simmons, who is a 73 overall. Not a bad draft pick for us at all. So we'll see what that ends up doing for us in the future. Brevin Paul, still the leading point guard and shooting guard over Juice Manley, as our team is kind of looking a lot weaker than it used to, but Chucky Longley taking over as a star center. Good to see what he could do. Thomas Parker ends up the MVP. Eugene White, Rookie of the Year. You got to watch out for that Eugene White. Defensive Player of the Year, George McLeod. We could have had him on our roster. Remember, we chose not to select him first overall a long time ago. Joshua Banks, still a first-team member. Lonnie Childress, still in the second team with Paolo Mancini. Those guys have been showing up on these lists for years now. Alex Francis in the third team. All defensive first team. You got Lonnie Childress. You got George McLeod in there. Onyeka Okongwu is in the second team with Zach Brody, who just won the Finals MVP not too long ago. And all rookie teams, we do not have our guy make this list at all. So moving on into the playoffs, we are in the Eastern Conference Final. We will get to the finals against the Trailblazers and win the finals in 6 games against the Portland Trailblazers. The New York Knicks win another finals in this series, and you'll love to see it as we get it done in 6 games in 2036 as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Donta Wade gets his MVP, 23 points a game, 8 assists per game, a couple of steals per game, and a few rebounds per game as well. So Donta Wade, really good to see him get something done in this as well. though he is not ultimately what we're looking to end the series with, but congratulations to Donta Wade. Don't want to take anything away from him. And you can see Jason Tatum, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young all retiring, Sadiq Bey, some real-life rookies. Kip Eggplant is a guy that one of y'all made, and I think you guys wanted him to be something else, Kip Cucumber or something. It wouldn't let me do that, so Eggplant is what we had to go with. Roman Markov was one of your players as well. I think that might have been Radio's player. He ended at 18 points a game through his career as well, so a couple of decent players there, Kip Eggplant and Markov. So we continue to move along. Trae Young, Jason Tatum, the only ones to make the Hall of Fame, as they get there, 27 and 24 points a game respectively. Trae Young gets his retired by the Clippers and the Hawks. Jaren Jackson retired by the Mavs, and Tatum, of course, retired by the Celtics. Into the draft lottery, where the Knicks have now 16 and 17 as picks. They would move up to number 8 to select Livingston, who was a 77 overall. Not a bad selection for the Knicks at all. They get value there if he has any sort of potential that he can grow. George McLeod gets MVP, 30 points a game, almost 10 boards, and almost 5 steals or 5 assists with 2 steals per game. He had a very, very big season. George McLeod also wins Defensive Player of the Year, and just an absolute beast of a freaking player in this series. Henry Weber, Eugene White, George McLeod, Lonnie Childress, and Garrison Harper all with the All-NBA first team. Second team, a lot of guys I don't really recognize. Rudy Mayo, I think I've seen around before. Third team, Stacey Saunders, still there. Alex Francis, still there. Bulls, that's probably their best player in a long time. Stacey Saunders, all defensive first team with Lonnie Childress. Chucky Longley makes it for our Knicks. You like to see that. Second team, Louis House, I recognize on that list. All rookie first team. We do not get our boy in there, Livingston. As a matter of fact, he doesn't get into the second team all rookie either. But, you know, that's not really going to decide his fate as we sweep the Magic in the Eastern Conference Final and win a second straight finals as we take down the Mavericks in 6 games. So the Knicks winning quite a bit of finals here in this episode. Hey, adding some hardware to the closet. You'll love to see that. Well, maybe not closet. Maybe mantle would be more appropriate. Brevin Paul gets this MVP. So now Donta Wade and Brevin Paul both with Finals MVPs a couple years in a row here, big-time winning as Luka Doncic retires the next year. Kobe White, Kevin Porter, Zion Williamson, Kira Lewis, the former Knick. Let's take a look at how his career has gone since leaving our New York Knicks. And he was just kind of on the come-up when he was with us. He got really good after he left, and then kind of came back down to earth a little bit. Cole Anthony, Tyrese Maxey retiring as well. Theo Maledon all retiring. As we move on through, we'll see if we can find any of your user prospects as well that may have slipped through the cracks here. I don't quite see any. Nope, don't see any there. Luka Doncic and Zion both going to make the Hall of Fame. Zion, Luka both getting their jerseys retired. Zion twice for 2 different teams. Kira Lewis gets his retired by the Pelicans. Cole Anthony for the Magic, and Luka gets a second one. He has the Magic and the Mavs and the Raptors. Moving through the lottery, Knicks get the 15th and 19th picks. But this is what the roster will look like pretty much going into the next season. Samuel Gaines still on the team. We're trying to keep him as well, trying to see how he can do. But there is the draft. Any new additions? Eugene White wins MVP. Told you got to watch out for that guy. Almost 40 points a game. Pretty much 40 points a game. Raptors get the Rookie of the Year. 6th man goes to the Pacers. Defensive Player of the Year is George McLeod, so even though he didn't win MVP, he was up there for defensive. Hey, Livingston had most improved. You like to see that. And we move into the All-NBA first team. McLeod, White, all up in there. Second team, Lonnie Childress is on there again. You see a lot of those same names. Alex Francis in for the third team. All defensive first team, you got George McLeod, you got Lonnie Childress, you got Chucky Longley. Eugene White in there for the all-defensive second team with Chucky Longley. All-rookie first team, we get our boy Quinn Hilliard, who we drafted in on the first team, so that's good to see. And unfortunately, we get taken out in the first round by Charlotte, who goes on to win the NBA Finals against Dallas, who made it there for a second straight year. They lose a second straight finals. Eugene White not only takes that MVP, but he takes the finals MVP as well, running straight on through the playoffs. Almost 40 points a game in that finals, 7 boards, 6 assists, just an absolute monster. And the Hornets win an NBA Finals. I mean, that's kind of cool to see, not going to lie. That is actually pretty cool to see the Hornets win something. So that is going to bring us to the end of this video. We have one more video left in the series. How do you think it's going to go? Do you think Juice Manley will be a Hall of Famer? What about Samuel Gaines? Let me know in the comment section below. Continue to show your support for the channel by dropping a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new for the love of franchise content. Look in the description below for some RAZE Energy coupons and some other coupon codes as well.